Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the Pea. We are in the second week of the Omer. I hope that it's going smooth for everyone. This week, we're diving into Parsha Shemini. Please like, share, comment, follow, all the things. Let's get started. So, we open this week, and it explicitly states we are on the 8th day. Moshe then summons Aaron, his sons, and the elders of Israel. Moshe says to Aaron, "Take yourself an offering bull for a sin offering and a ram for an elevation offering, unblemished, and offer them before Hashem. And to Bnei Israel speak as follows: Take a he-goat for a sin offering, and a calf and a sheep in their first year, unblemished, for an elevation offering, and a bull and a ram for a peace offering to slaughter before Hashem, and a meal offering mixed with oil. For today Hashem appears to you." They took what Moshe commanded to the front of the tent of meeting, and the entire assembly approached and stood before Hashem. Moshe says, "This is the thing that Hashem has commanded you to do. Then the glory of Hashem will appear to you." So Moshe says to Aaron, "Come near to the altar and perform the service of your sin offering and your elevation offering and provide atonement for yourself and for the people. Then perform the service of the people's offering and provide atonement for them as Hashem has commanded." Aaron came near to the altar, and he slaughtered the sin offering calf that was his. The sons of Aaron brought the blood to him. He dipped his finger into the blood and placed it on around the altar and poured the remaining blood in the foundation of the altar. And the fats, the kidneys, the diaphragm with the liver of the sin offering, he caused to go up in smoke on the altar as Hashem commanded Moshe. And the flesh and the hide he burned in the fire outside of the camp. He slaughtered the elevation offering. The sons of Aaron presented the blood to him, and then he threw it on the altar all around. They presented the elevation offering to him in its pieces with the head, and he caused it to go up in smoke on the altar. He washed the innards and the feet and caused them to go up in smoke on the elevation offering on the altar. He brought near the offering of the people. He took the sin offering goat that was for the people and slaughtered it and performed the sin offering service as for the first one. He then brought near the elevation offering and performed its service according to the law. He brought near the meal offering, filled his palm from it, and caused it to go up in smoke on the altar aside from the morning elevation offering. He slaughtered the bull and the ram, the people's feast peace offering. The sons of Aaron presented the blood to him, and he threw it all around the altar. As for the fats from the bull and from the ram, and the tail, the covering fats, the kidneys, and the diaphragm with the liver, they placed the fats of the breasts and caused the fats to go up in smoke on the altar. Aaron lifted up the breasts and the right thigh as a wave service before Hashem, as Moshe commanded. Aaron raised his hands to the people and blessed them, and he descended from having performed the sin, elevation, and peace offerings. Moshe and Aaron came to the tent of meeting, and they went out and blessed the people, and the glory of Hashem appeared to the entire people. So then a fire went forth from before Hashem and consumed the entire altar, the elevation offering, and all of the fats. The people saw this, and they sang glad songs and fell upon their faces. The sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, each took their fire pan. They put fire in them and placed incense upon them. They brought them before Hashem, an alien fire that he did not command them. A fire came forth from before Hashem and consumed them, and they died before Hashem. Moshe then summons Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Aaron's uncle Uziel, and he says to them, "Approach, carry your brothers out of the sanctuary to the outside of the camp." They approached and carried them by their tunics to the outside of the camp, as Moshe had spoken. Moshe said to Aaron and his other sons, Eleazar and Itamar, "Do not leave your heads unshorn, and do not rend your garments, that you not die and become wrathful with the entire assembly. And your brethren, the house of Israel, shall bewail the conflagration that Hashem ignited. Do not leave the entrance of the tent of meeting, lest you die, for the oil of Hashem's anointment is upon you." And they carried out Moshe what he said. So Hashem spoke to Aaron and said, "Do not drink intoxicating wine, you and your sons with you, when you come to the tent of meeting, that you not die. This is an eternal decree for your generations. In order to distinguish between the sacred and the profane, and between the contaminated and the pure, and also to teach Bnei Israel all the decrees that Hashem spoke to them through Moshe." So Moshe speaks to Aaron, Eleazar, Itamar, which are Aaron's remaining sons, and he said, "Take the meal offering that is left from the fire offerings of Hashem, and eat it unleavened near the altar, for it is the most holy. You shall eat it in a holy place, for it is your portion and the portion of your sons from the fire offering of Hashem. For so I have been commanded. And the breasts of the waving and the thigh of the raising up you shall eat in a pure place, you and your sons and daughters with you. For they have been given as your offering, and the portion of your sons from the feast peace offerings of Bnei Israel. They are to bring the thigh of the raising up and the breast of the waving upon the fire offering fats to wave as a wave service before Hashem. And it shall be for you and your sons with you for an eternal decree, as Hashem commanded." Moshe inquired insistently about the he-goat of the sin offering, for behold, it had burned, and he was wrathful with Eleazar and Itamar, saying, "Why did you not eat the sin offering in a holy place? For it is most holy. And he gave it to you to gain forgiveness for the sin of the assembly, and to atone for them before Hashem. Behold, its blood was not brought into the sanctuary within. You should have eaten it in the holy, as I commanded." Aaron speaks to Moshe and he says, "Was it they who this day offered their sin offering and their elevation offering before Hashem? Now that such things befell me, were we to eat this sin offering? If we were to eat this sin offering, would Hashem approve?" So Moshe heard and approved. Hashem speaks to Moshe and Aaron and says, "Speak to Bnei Israel, saying, these are the creatures you may eat from among all the animals that are upon the earth. Everything among the animals that has a split hoof, which is completely separated into double hooves, and that brings up its cud, that one you may eat. But this is what you shall not eat from among those that bring up their cud, or that have split hooves: the camel, the hyrax, and the hare, for they bring up their cud, but their hooves are not split. They are unclean to you. And the pig, for its hoof is split, and its hoof is completely separated, but it does not chew its cud. It is unclean to you. You shall not eat their flesh or touch their carcass. They are unclean to you. Thus, this may you eat from everything that is in the water, everything that has fins and scales in the water, the seas, and the streams, and everything that does not have fins and scales in the seas and in the streams, from all that teems in the water and all living creatures in the water. They are an abomination to you, and they shall remain an abomination to you. You shall not eat of their fleas, and you shall not dominate their carcass. Everything that does not have guns, fins, and scales in the water, it is an abomination to you. These shall you abominate from among the birds. They may not be eaten. They are an abomination. The nesher, peres, osnia, the da, aya, according to its kind, every orev, according to its kind, bas, haya, ana, tachmos, shachaf, the nets, according to their kind, kos, shalach, and yanshuf, tinshemes, the kas, the racham, chasida, anafa, according to their kinds, duchifas, and the atalef. Every flying, teeming creature that walks on four legs is an abomination to you. Only this may you eat from among all flying, teeming creatures that walk on four legs. One that has jumping legs above its legs, with which to spring upon the earth. You may eat these from among them, the arbe, according to its kind, salam, chargol, chagav, even flying, teeming things that have four legs, they are abominations to you. You become contaminated through the following. Anyone who touches their carcass becomes contaminated until the evening. And anyone who carries their carcass shall immerse his clothing and be contaminated until the evening. Every animal that has split hooves that are not completely split or does not chew its cud, they are contaminated to you. Whoever touches them becomes contaminated. And every one that walks on its paws among all the animals that walk on four legs, they are contaminated to you. Whoever touches their carcass shall be contaminated until evening. One who carries their carcass shall immerse his clothing and be contaminated until evening. These are the contaminated ones among the teeming animals that teem upon the earth. The choled, achbar, tsav, according to its variety, anaka, koach, leta, and the chomet and the tinshemes. Only these are contaminated to you among all the teeming animals. Anyone who touches them, when they are dead, shall be contaminated until evening. When they are dead, anything upon which part of them will fall shall become contaminated, whether a wooden utensil, garment, leather, or sackcloth. Any utensil with which work is done shall be brought into the water and remain contaminated until evening, and then become cleansed. Any earthenware utensil into whose interior one of them will fall, everything in it shall become contaminated, and you shall break it. If any food that is edible upon which water comes shall become contaminated, any beverage that can be drunk in any vessel shall become contaminated. Anything upon which part of their carcass may fall shall be contaminated. An oven or a stove shall be smashed. They are contaminated, and they shall remain contaminated to you. Only a spring or a cistern, a gathering of water shall remain pure, but one who touches their carcass shall become contaminated. And if its carcass will fall upon any edible seed that has been planted, it remains pure. But if water had been placed on a seed and then their carcass falls upon it, it is contaminated to you. If an animal that you may eat has died, one who touches its carcass shall become contaminated until evening. And one who eats from his carcass shall immerse his clothing and remain contaminated until evening. One who carries its carcass shall immerse his clothing and remain contaminated until evening. Every teeming creature that teems upon the ground, it is an abomination, and it shall not be eaten. Everything that creeps on its belly, and everything that walks on four legs, up to those with numerous legs, among all the teeming things that teem upon the earth, you may not eat them, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable by means of any teeming things. Do not contaminate yourselves through them, lest you become contaminated through them. For I am Hashem, your God, and you are to sanctify yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. And you shall not contaminate yourselves through any teeming thing that creeps on the earth. For I am Hashem, who elevates you from the land of Egypt to be a God unto you. You shall be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the animal, the bird, every living creature that swarms in the water, and every creature that teems on the ground, to distinguish between the contaminated and the pure, and between the creature that may be eaten and the creature that may not be eaten. So, this is the conclusion of Parshat Shemini. So, we go back to the beginning. And after we have just received instructions for how we offer ourselves for atonement and also for developing a closer connection to the Creator, we are immediately told that we are on the 8th day. Why does it matter? The process of creation happened in 7 days. So everything that is earthbound, taking light, sacrificing ego, seeking deeper connection, becoming someone that is capable of holding that light and turning it into something that is usable and relatable on the earth is complete within 7 days. On the 7th day, Shabbat, there is meant to be a conscious understanding of receiving because of the efforts or the offerings made in the first 6 days. So by the time you reach 8, you now have integrated the process. You've become more embodied as this person who is holding the light and revealing it. So you're an open vessel. And when you're a clear and open channel for light, receiving and giving intentionally, because you are actively transmitting light into this world, you become like a magnet for miracles, so to speak. Like attracts like. High vibration, high frequency, holding high energy. In other words, it's being aligned. What does that look like? It's actively creating. Remember, our words create reality, and your words form from thoughts, which can be divine. So, in alignment, you now have taken this divine thought, you've translated it into words, and you have followed through with the physical creation, aligning your words and your actions. This is why it's so important to say what you mean and mean what you say. Again, this is like what people refer to as manifestation. And when people say things like, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. 8 is a number of divine receiving, abundance. Not because you're lucky and not because you meditate or pray all the time, but because you've actively shifted yourself to becoming a person who is capable of using the Creator's light with purpose. You are now inhabiting alignment consistently, which allows for a constant flow of light. Okay, so we move on and we're told to offer more, continue offering yourself, giving of yourself in the habits that you have now created, and you now will have the Creator's glory appear before you. You now are able to witness the awe of the Creator in real time. So we have some more offerings, and then we fast forward to Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu. Nadav means giving, generosity, kindness, and Avihu means my father is he, Hashem. So we have these two sons who are seemingly zealous. First of all, they're sons of Aaron who take part in the offerings. So they are elevated above the common man. They have an elevated understanding of the Creator, and they were in an environment where we would think they knew completely how to hold light with intention. But what did they do? They lit an alien fire. So what does that mean? Fire is desire, passion, and action. Alien means that it's from a place of misalignment. And they chose to offer this misalignment to the creator. And then they died. When we have urges and desires that are misaligned, don't come from a place of light, and then we choose to rush them off to the creator, you're not living in truth. This world was created from light, truth, and alignment. And when you choose to bring disorder, misalignment, imbalance, you die. Not literally, but it's like a piece of your soul is lost or covered, concealed. You now become more disconnected from the creator. Example, you know someone, you spend time with someone, or you have some sort of relationship with someone, and for some reason around this person, you aren't completely yourself. Maybe you can't put your finger on it, but you feel out of alignment even in the slightest. So, what does it feel like in this moment? Like you need to change how you speak or what you say so that the person will accept you or not react to you. So let's say that they ask your opinion about something and you have this urge just to say whatever you think the person wants to hear. And you do it from a good place. You like them and you want them to feel good, but you're misaligned. And the more you do this, the more you feel shame, guilt, disconnected from yourself, which is being disconnected from the creator. When we place ourselves in situations where we make offerings and we give from misalignment, it's almost like we are choosing to release pieces of our soul. Our soul is the part of the light of the creator. And when we don't honor that, when we choose to be misaligned from the creator, light, parts of our soul are hidden from us because we're showing that through our actions that we are not holding ourselves accountable. We are not stepping up, giving ourselves, giving our offering, participating in the co-creation process by using the light that we are entrusted with. So then we have Mishael, Elzaphan, and Uziel, who are called to carry out the bodies of Aaron's sons. Mishael means who is like God. Elzaphan means God protects, and Uziel means the strength of God. So the meaning is there's none like the Creator who protects through his strength. So why would we have this just after Aaron's sons died? When you cannot hold light, it goes directly back to its source, remaining until you are hopefully able to grow and then hold the light and use it with intention. Now, it works the other way as well. When light is withheld from you, it is also a form of protection for you. This is directly related to the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. Many people want the power, but they don't want the responsibility. So imagine that you work at a restaurant and you're a waiter, but you see your boss and you're just like, well, all they do is sit in their office all day. And then when they come out, they're just being friendly to customers and then just coming over and telling us what to do. So this is like light being withheld from you. Okay. So now let's also imagine we said you're just the waiter, right? But there's an opportunity for you to step up and do your boss's job for one day. And as you take on this role, you realize that you have to stay on top of inventory. You have to be in constant contact with vendors. You need to make sure that your kitchen isn't violating health codes, that the food is being properly prepared and it's going out on time. You have to make sure that the customers are satisfied. If there's a customer that has an issue, you have to resolve the problem. You also have to be in touch with your boss's boss. And then you have to deal with employees. You have to deal with the employees who decide that they just aren't able to come in for work. So now you have to figure out how to operate shorthanded. Maybe you have to step in and help out at some points during the shift. You have to deal with employees who are not doing their jobs properly. So now you either have to figure out training or some sort of consequences for that. You have to manage personalities, which can be one of the most challenging tasks for the majority of people. There are so many other tasks that you didn't even ever consider. So again, this is you wanting power and then not being able to hold the responsibility. So you go back to your position as the waiter, likely feeling gratitude for where you are. But so many life and times we have situations like this where light is withheld from us, and maybe we're aware of it and maybe we're not. But it's protection because you have not taken the responsibility to step up and develop the skills to be able to handle what is necessary to fulfill the purpose that is attached to that light. So, a bit after this, we're told not to drink intoxicating wine. Why? When we drink, many people tend to become more audacious. You can act more from a place of ego as opposed to from a place of divine connection. So, this isn't just a commentary on not having too many drinks. It's letting you know, don't get high on your own supply. Don't allow your desires and your consumption to remove you from a place of alignment. And then soon after, they're told to eat the unleavened because it is the most holy. Remember, unleavened means no ego. So we're being told directly, leave your ego at the door. The Creator doesn't want it. Humility is holy. So we fast forward a bit and we now have the rules for kashrut. So we're told that we only eat the animals who have split hooves and they eat their cud. So what's that about? The split hooves are about boundaries, balance, being able to separate and discern what is aligned versus what is misaligned. Eating their cud is about receiving, bringing something up to process, and then reintegrating after understanding. So remember, animals are like physical actions. So we're meant to observe, discern, process, and then integrate. The term you are what you eat is not just about food. It's also about what you allow in your environment because what we allow in our environment shapes us. So then we have the fish, but only the sea creatures with fins and scales. Why? Fins represent intentional direction, and scales represent, again, boundaries and protection. And remember that water is divinity. So when we allow ourselves to be divinely guided in a direction of purpose, we need to have strong boundaries so that we protect our light and our mission. Now, both of these revolve around boundaries, which is critical, especially in a world where we're told the more you do, the more you give, the more you are is better. And remember, you are what you eat. But boundaries are the most critical part because if you don't have properly held and discerned boundaries, you will likely not remain aligned. And then we have the teeming animals. What does teeming even mean? It means like swarming. So any animals that swarm are an abomination. So what really happens in a swarming? Many animals kind of come together, they gather without direction. In other words, don't just join the crowd for the sake of joining. Differentiate, discern, understand, and integrate. Rise above the swarmy animal nature that permeates our culture. So, Shemini is right after Passover, and we're receiving the understanding for how to not fumble the light that we've been gifted. The way we do that is to develop characteristics that will help to uphold the vessel that we are creating. The most important part is to put in the work, but to do so from a place of alignment. We're constantly looking at what other people are saying, what other people are doing, and oftentimes we judge people. But why? Because they're not doing it the way that we do it, so that means that they're wrong. And this is not having split hooves or chewing our cud. We think that our judgment of others is done because, well, we're doing it right and we just want them to be better. But this is your desire, your urge, your judgment that you're choosing to offer up to the Creator, like Nadav and Avihu. Having split hooves allows you to see another person separate, to discern the person from the action. Remember, this is what the Creator does for us all the time. He separates our behaviors from our soul in an effort to understand through receiving, processing, and integrating. And through that, you can give people grace because we all go through the same life experiences. The outside, the circumstances may be different, but the principle is the same. Just because when I'm sad, I get quiet and I like to be alone, but you're sad, and when you're sad, you like to cry and tell everyone what's wrong and to eat a big bowl of ice cream, it doesn't mean that we don't experience the same sadness. We are all placed here as different expressions of the Creator's light. Same principle, different circumstances. Giving grace is allowing yourself to witness the light in someone else, which is having the glory of the Creator appear before you. When you choose to see light, you are being light yourself, creating a cohesion between you and someone else. Giving grace allows us to create union, allows us to become one, and it allows us to bring more light into the world. Shemini shows us that elevation is not the end of the process, it's the beginning of responsibility. Once light enters your life, you are no longer just becoming, you are shifting from effort to embodiment, from offering to holding, from reaching for light to becoming the person who can live inside it without breaking alignment. So this week, challenge yourself, give grace, choose to see the beauty in someone, because I can guarantee there have been many moments when someone had to choose to see your beauty, and we're all meant to pay it forward in life. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.